We're supposed to have a conversation that flows naturally. That's insane. I'll give you $10. Our guest for today is going to be Lucas, who's behind the camera right now. He is my housemate, I guess. You can see here I'm in the garden of my beautiful mansion, and I'll talk about how I was able to afford that using credit card investments. We'll get into that later. But today we have Lucas on the show because he's kind of working with me on producing this because he has been having some trouble paying some of the rent that he owes me. So he's at this point, this is my first employee of MMM company, Max Money Millenium, is Lucas. And I guess, Lucas, if you zoom out and come here, and the way we'll do it, I guess you can ask me some questions about entrepreneurship and maybe get my advice, and we can kind of just use that as a springboard to really share some of the insight that's going to be going into Max Money Millenium.
Okay.
All right, so here we got Lucas.
Hi guys.
All right. No need to make.
Sorry.
Okay. Just act normal. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So as you know, I owe you some money.
Let me introduce. This is Lucas. He's just. He's not really. He's just a guy. He's just a normal guy. So this is going to be an interesting conversation in terms of how can we create a dialogue between just a normal guy who's not really part of entrepreneurship, other than being an employee of MMM, and how can we have a dialogue of that world of not really being aware of these things of business and the possibilities of making millions, easy millions, and how can we start that dialogue in terms of people who don't even know about these secrets, and getting that insight from somebody who has been exploring this world and who's kind of breaking into it with this new company, MMM, Max Money Millenium.
So, well, let's start with what happened with you before the house. Can you tell me?
Well, let's not go back into ancient history because that's not really what people are tuning in for.
Well, you want to tell me about the house?
Or, the house
where we live,
this crib, yeah. This is basically a mansion, and you can see here we got a koi pond, Japanese plants, and this is all stuff that most people can't afford. Especially, I'm a younger man myself, in my mid-20s. And a lot of people are surprised that I'm able to live in this kind of a mansion and afford this. I mean, I do have a housemate, which is you, Lucas. But the reason for that is mainly just to have somebody to do chores around the house and stuff like that. I guess if what you're getting at is how was I able to afford this, and how did I break into this housing market, which is one of many markets that we're going to be exploring as part of Max Money Millenium. And the answer is really credit cards. Credit cards are an excellent investment that not many people know about. People just know about having one credit card and using that and paying the bills at the end of the month and so forth. That's the standard story that you hear about credit cards. What a lot of people don't know is that you can actually invest in your future using the technology of credit cards. And that'll allow you to make strategic investments, which is what I'm doing with MMM, things that I need in order to start this business, like this background for this video. You know, if we were shooting this in some dingy apartment, some dingy basement, it wouldn't quite have the same effect. I can showcase the wealth that I have accumulated with MMM.
Okay.
So in a way, that's an investment. And then once we get the returns coming in, once we get the growth, the user engagement coming in, then we're going to be seeing the revenue sources coming in. And we're going to be seeing sales going up with merch. We're going to be putting out a bunch of merch, which is including this kind of hat with the MMM logo. I'm thinking of developing some kind of an app or some kind of a social media or a digital. I think there's a lot of money to be made with digital. So I'm thinking we're going to try to go as digital as possible. And we're also going to be selling subscriptions for the Max Millenium Mentorship Program. And that is a program where you can sign up to get one-on-one personal counseling on every single level. Okay, physical, psychological, financial, spiritual, in terms of the ladies. And stop being such a loser, stop being such a beta or cuck, as is the common term for the type of people who really don't know how to take that initiative, don't know how to take that step to get to the higher level, to get to the level beyond that even. And we can talk about that because there's levels beyond, okay? It's not just one level that you get to and then you're done. You level up with some simple life hack. We are going to teach life hacks, but it's about accumulating those life hacks and combining them across different spheres, across different domains of existence and reality. You know, the many baskets in which we place our eggs, you cross those over and then you create true transformation, inner transformation from within, taking that energy and raising that up from the low energy, from the low frequency vibrational, and moving it up into higher levels, up to the total integration, which is when you get to the next level. But then there's levels beyond that, okay? And this is where it gets hard to explain to someone who hasn't really been initiated into this. But there's levels beyond that, and then, you know, even once you run out of levels, then you get to dimensional leaps.
So it's a long, very long process.
It's a long game, yeah.
It's
a long game, but
nothing quick.
And you need, based on ancient history, which we all know the wisdom of the ancients. The way they typically did this is you have this master and servant or disciple relationship where the master kind of imparts his wisdom on the disciple in order to create a lineage, really, where you're paying it forward in time, right?
Well, then
you're
the
creating,
disciple
and it's
becomes
almost
the master
exactly,
at some point.
Exactly. And the earlier you get involved with this master disciple thing, the quicker you can become a master. If you wait for a really long time until everybody is doing this, you're going to be one of the last. You might never even become a master because there'll be too many masters, right? So you got to get in early and make an investment. Really, this is the only program that's offering that kind of multi-dimensional approach, is Max Money Millenium. There are other programs, other influencers, but
Bad.
Yeah, exactly. At least Lucas knows that these other influencers out there are really doing a bad job. Well, they're doing a good job in terms of being scoundrels, in terms of being cheats and charlatans, and ripping you off with false information and trying to keep you on a low vibrational energy, low frequency. A lot of these influencers, you know, they don't want you to engage with social media in the same way that they do. They don't want you to be active. They just want you to follow them and click like. They don't want you to post your own content. They want to keep you down so that they can be up. But that's the opposite of what Max Money Millenium is all about. We're all about getting to that next level and bringing everyone with us. Because we're starting from, well, not the bottom, because I already have this blueprint. I already have the insight and the information that I'm going to need in order to create that external change. But now is the moment.
It is a grassroots movement.
It's a grassroots movement, and now that I have the blueprint, now it's time for everyone to get involved so that we can create that transformation and manifest that reality in the external world and create that revenue stream, get that revenue, harness that energy, and really make a lot of money in the process. And have fun, and having fun. Yeah. I've been spinning some bars, you've been producing some beats, really channeling your energy, but also using your brain at the same time and making those connections on the fly, freestyle. You know, I'm not going to do it now because we're probably going to have some music videos coming out pretty soon, professional style, having me as a gangster or a gangster boss. Not a scammer, because that's kind of low level stuff. More high level, like the original Italian mafia, the Sopranos. You've seen that, or The Godfather. But at the same time, I consider myself to be an ethical guy in terms of I'm trying to help everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to help
how
you.
could you not?
Because frankly, your situation, we won't get into this, but your situation was not ideal.
Well,
now you're here. Now
thank you. I mean,
you're
I say thank you every day.
Paradise on earth.
You know.
This is really as good as it gets, and this is just the beginning, because obviously I'm going to upgrade Mega Mansion. and I'll maybe have a couple in different locations, and as well as
Maybe
a
some-
backup plan for
maybe
survival. This is something that's good to get involved in, politically speaking, because we're going to create a lot of jobs with Max Money Millennium. Excuse me.
Sorry.
I thought we were doing an interview.
Just what? I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. It was 2 seconds.
Well, we're now I
That threw you off,
completely lost my train of thought.
Mr. Money. Can't even.
All right. So
Sorry,
now
I won't.
we were supposed to do a professional interview, so let's just keep it professional.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Man,
I mean, we're supposed to have a conversation that flows naturally.
yeah.
You know, we can talk about anything. That's the whole.
I'm a little tired.
Literally,
I've been doing
like
a
most
lot of
people I
housework
know,
today.
most people I know would be able to have an interesting conversation, just about a variety of topics. It doesn't need to be just about one thing. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of Max Money Millennium, is we can talk about anything, and that can be part of the concept. See what I'm saying?
Candles. Can we do candles?
Well, that's just the candles on the table. There's candles on the table.
Maybe
It's
there's
not
some
that
money to be
interesting.
made. I mean, maybe we need to change
Not
up
really.
the candle game.
No, it's kind of the opposite, because candles represents an old-fashioned.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I guess that's interesting. This is an old-fashioned way of doing lights, and the modern thing would obviously be electric light.
But that's. But maybe
And I mean, there's money to be made in that, especially developing even
laser
newer,
candles.
even newer technologies. I think candles are kind of off the table because it's just old-fashioned. All right. So, I mean, you're gonna need to edit this and cut all this bullshit out, and cut all this stuff out. We're gonna make a lot of edits with this video.